Jim and Gary, thank you so much for meeting with us today. Could we start by talking about how Sentiment360 was formed, how it came about?
Sure. My Northern Irish company, Reverio Technologies, has provided software development services for a range of small, medium-sized software houses all around the world. And we've been pretty lucky in working with some innovative companies out there. And really, we decided to diversify our business model and start to produce our own innovative software solutions where we saw particular market needs that were compelling and lucrative. So that's how we came to set up Sentiment360 here in the States.
And why did you pick social media as the field for this new company?
Well, David, social media is fascinating. On one hand, it's being treated mainly as an extension of media or entertainment channels. But in reality, it represents a vast opportunity in terms of mining business intelligence as it relates to how consumers are thinking and what's driving their buying trends. So when we looked at social media, again, and stripped away all the hype, we decided that there was a need for a common sense, business-centric solution that would focus on translating all of the information, all of basically the ocean of consumer conversations online, and distilling that down into a very distinct, high-value stream of actionable insights that companies could then take to drive their sales and marketing programs forward. And when you look at social media, the numbers are staggering in many ways. Today, there are over 500 million people who use Facebook on a regular basis. There are 2 billion videos downloaded from YouTube each and every day. And a lot of that content really relates to how people feel about the products and services that they're buying in the marketplace today. And what should be of particular interest to companies is that, according to a recent Nielsen research study, 78% of consumers now believe the online opinions that are posted on blogs and news forums on these social media channels. And that's versus 14%, only 14% of people that believe and trust traditional advertising. So the whole emphasis in terms of how people are buying and what influences them has swung from that traditional advertising medium to social media. And so for companies, regardless of their size, unless they're keeping their finger on the pulse of what's being said about them, their products, or their competition on these social media channels, they could run the risk of making inaccurate or worse still, wrong decisions without really having that holistic appreciation of what's being said across social media. So where we fit in is to give companies that wider appreciation of what's being said across a wide range of different types of social media channels.
Why is it better to use you than to do it in-house for a company?
Social media really is it's a bit of a double-edged sword. You have this huge amount of valuable information, but then you have a huge amount of information, which is, for even the most sophisticated business users, can be very easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information that you would have returned by using any of the common off-the-shelf social media tools that are available today. So you could easily be looking at 50,000 tweets and blogs coming back at you. And the challenge is, where are the 1 or 2% of those conversations that are of real value? How do you get down there? So what we do is we take that pain away from the business users and provide them with a full service that will listen to what they want to hear about what's being said about them, and then go and translate that into a well-defined process that will then ultimately result in a very succinct output and delivery of reports and metrics and analyses that not only help people understand what people are saying overall, and we express that by telling them what their net sentiment index is, for example, but equally importantly is to then be able to provide a detailed level of the qualitative aspects that will help tell them what particular attributes about their product or service is really hitting the mark with their consumer base and which ones aren't, for example. So that's really what the main value is that we bring to the table.
Could you talk about the work you've done with advertising agencies such as Saatchi & Saatchi?
Yes, we've helped them look at the efficiency of how well their advertising campaigns are working on behalf of some of their major clients. And again, that's where the qualitative aspect of our analysis really comes to the fore. Because advertising agencies are looking for that sort of creative spark to say, okay, what has worked well in the past? What are people gravitating towards? And then helping them drive that forward. And therefore, where we've been able to look into it is to dive several levels deep into those conversations to find out, even down to details such as what are the emotions behind consumers' decisions to buy a car or go on holiday, for example. And all of those insights are very, very valuable to the creative teams at the likes of Saatchi. So social media in that case is a must-have component of their overall strategy.
We were talking earlier about a hotel. If you have a hotel and your customers, for example, are posting a video of some unpleasant experience they had in the hotel, is that the kind of thing the hotel company would want to know about sooner rather than later?
Oh, absolutely. There are many, many examples, hotels, mobile phones, you name it, of bad products or bad experiences being posted on the web and basically going viral in an instant. So companies such as hotels have to realize that unbeknownst to them, this may be happening without their knowledge. And you know, where we see a challenge is that a lot of companies will tell you, look, we got a social media strategy, we have that covered. We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter feed, we're okay, thanks. But that's a very myopic viewpoint, unfortunately, because what you're relying on then is that very small subset of opinion based on those people who are proactively seeking out your Facebook page or your Twitter page to come and post their comments. And by definition, those sorts of folks already buy into your products and your service. What you need to find, however, is what is that wider picture like? What are your wider consumers talking about? And therefore, a bad video about a hotel, that could crop up on TripAdvisor, it could be Travelocity, it could be a blog about a particular vacation spot. It could be in any one of literally thousands of online websites. And the minute somebody finds it, they can then use other traditional social media vehicles like Twitter to make that thing go viral in a fraction of the time. So where we fit into that scenario is to help those hotels have a wide reach to make sure that they're covering most, if not all, of the online social media sources that they need to keep their finger on the pulse, and to then provide them with any triggers or alerts whenever we see bad news breaking.
And I understand you're developing your own search technology. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We use a range of off-the-shelf tools currently, and they're fairly limited in the fact that it requires the user to be able to put in what are relatively complex Boolean search terms in order to find the right information. And so that's an overhead to begin with, and then you have all of the accuracy issues, etc., and a lot of the noise to contend with that we've spoke about before. What we're currently doing is we have been fortunate enough to acquire technology from a spin-off from Georgia Tech, which focuses on applying artificial intelligence techniques for text mining. And this technology has been used in the field with the likes of the US Air Force and General Electric to basically parse through huge amounts of structured and unstructured data to provide trending analysis. And that type of technology we're now able to apply very seamlessly to what we're doing in social media, because at the end of the day, social media is just a vast collection of unstructured conversations on the web.